Hey guys, welcome back to Fruitopia. We're home from our winter vacation, and I'm gonna do part two of our garden on our return. So you guys saw part one here of the back, and we're gonna go now to the front and do part two of what's been going on whilst we were away in August. I literally haven't touched anything. We just got back in last night from the Sunshine Coast of Queensland, and wow, what a beautiful day it is in Melbourne on our first day, on our first full day. Just marvelous. Only 16 Celsius or 17, but feels nice, and it's good to be home. We're gonna start with the Glen Mango, which you saw in a video a couple of weeks ago when we were here last at the beginning of August. Well, now it's August is over, right? And even though it woke up 3 weeks ago, there hasn't been much change in those 3 weeks that we were gone. Just a little teeny weeny bit, because the night temperatures are still low, guys. They're only like between 6 and 8, I believe. So not much change on the Glen, but the good news is it doesn't have any dieback. It hasn't been set back at all. And I saw that we had a couple of days of 0 Celsius sometime around late August, right? Around August 20th, it got down to 0 or plus 1 degree. So it looks like this is ready for action. Just waiting on some more warm days. And the forecast is for 2021 and even 23 at the very beginning of spring. So I'm pretty happy about the upcoming warm spring and summer, hot actually, that they're forecasting. But I hope it doesn't come at the price of wildfires and bushfires that the Northern Hemisphere has just gone through. We don't want that either. Okay, and here we have the jackfruit at the beginning of spring, still green. Only bug damage on the leaves there, right? Not cold, but bugs. I don't know what bug is eating away at the leaves, but that's the only problem we've had all winter on the jackfruit. So the cloth has paid off. It's done its job marvelously, right? I could even remove it now, but September is still cold, guys. September is still cold in Melbourne. It might be the beginning of spring, but trust me, we can have some surprises at night. Nighttime is the problem, not daytime. Daytime is still is nice, between 15 and 22. The nights are the problem. We can get down to freezing 0 temperatures in September at night. Okay, here's the Suriname cherry, which seems to be playing this little game. Every year it does this in August and September. The guessing game. And the guess is, will it flower this year and fruit? This is 8 years old. And I gave it a trim back in July. I gave the pineapple guavas a trim as well. And the lime here, right? Pretty savage prune. I go savage with these guys because they're tough. They're tough as guts. They don't need gentle pampering, especially when you have a trunk like that, as thick as your arm. So no problem with citrus and feijoa. So looks like they're getting ready to wake up already. The feijoas pushing out new growth, right? Yep, it's waking up even now at the beginning of spring. Yep. So no problem there. I don't ever expect problems with feijoa. That's the new full-size Cavendish, which I got last summer. It's going to take off this year. I don't know what's going on with the acerola. We're going to check that out later. Mandarin, another feijoa. This is the new mango I planted back at the beginning of summer last year. That is December 2022. Its first winter has been excellent. There is minor cold damage, right? One there, one here, and one down here. So 3 leaves. 3 leaves have been knocked out, and partial knockouts here on the tips. But otherwise, it's pulled through really well. It's a Kensington Pride seedling, right? So the label says. And likewise, like with the Glen, this is starting to wake up too. Hasn't done much because the weather hasn't done much. We only had 1 day of 20 Celsius, or 2 days. That's not enough. 2 days of 20 Celsius are not enough for this to say, okay, let's do it. Let's go for it. It needs a good couple of weeks of warmth to take off. At least 2 weeks. And we haven't even come close to 2 weeks of warm weather. Now, on the Sunshine Coast, I saw huge mango trees that were flowering and setting fruit. But guys, they have 20 and 22 Celsius there every single day throughout winter, from the first day of winter to the last day of winter, right? So of course they're going to be flowering and setting fruit. So we don't have that luxury here. This is the other acerola I have, which seem to have done very, very well, unprotected again. I did one unprotected and the other one back there with a cover, and we'll see the difference between protecting your acerola and not protecting it, right? Along the same fence line. We'll see the difference shortly. So that's the driveway, and the dwarf Cavendish bananas have come through like champions. No yellowing. This is the first year ever since I started growing bananas 12 years ago that we haven't had any yellowing of the leaves on the bananas. Can you believe it? That's how warm winter has been in Melbourne this year. The warmest winter in at least 10 years. So the potted persimmons have woken up. I wish I had these in the ground, but nowhere to put them. People have told me to put them in the driveway here, but guys, I need this to park cars. If we have a guest over or a big truck that needs to come here to do some work on the house, where's he going to park his truck? So I can't be putting fruit trees along here. I would have loved to have put this pomegranate. Did I say persimmon? I meant pomegranate. There where it is now in the ground, and the same with this one in the ground, right? But I need this room in here for parking if needed, if necessary. I don't need anyone to park there now, but someday this area might be needed to park cars and trucks and what have you. So that's reserved for vehicles. Because 5-6 years ago I got a contractor out to do some work under the house, and he had his concrete truck parked there for 2 weeks. He was parked there. He was here for 2 weeks doing work, and he needed access with his truck, his cement truck. You know those big trucks that spin the cement? Well, where was he going to park it? Out on the street? I don't think so. So this has to be made available for trucks. Black Sapodi is looking amazing. No fruit this year. It skipped a year. It took a year off, a holiday, like we did. But it's got little fruitlets starting to form for next year, for next year's fruit, 2024. But it's very, very early stages. It's hard to see. Yeah, you can't see it. It's got new growth as well. Where did I see the fruitlets? I saw the fruitlets last night. Well, I was out here with a flashlight looking at the trees at midnight, and I think I saw, maybe it was just in my mind, I saw little fruitlets on the Black Sapodi. The good news is it's growing nicely. It's at 7 feet high, right? It's a seedling in the ground now for 3 years, and it's doing great. That's my leading Black Sapodi out of 5. I think I got 5 now. The others are all grafted though. The Wampy did really well. These are the last fruits that weren't eaten from winter, right? So they dried up. I gave it a butchering down in the middle there. See that? So it grows outwards instead of in the center. So that's doing well. The red Chatut is absolutely jam-packed with little berries, as it is every year without fail. This guy goes crazy. These are ready in October, the middle of spring. So many we can't eat them all. We always lose half the fruit every year. Just too many to eat. Elisa I think she got like 4 of these trees. I don't know what she's going to do with all those berries. She must be planning to have a business of selling fruit. There's no other way. You can't eat more mulberries than one tree. These are my little cuttings I took last year and potted them up. This is I think it's the Mission fig. I'm not sure. Someone's gonna have to tell me what fig this is when these fruit in summer. The little lemonade that I planted here last summer, it's always struggled in the pot. I had it in the pot for like 6 years, and before that it was in the ground for 3 years. It's had a hard life, let's put it that way, and a lot of gall wasp, which is a pain, major problem. The Hachia persimmon has woken up, right? I hope that it takes off this year. It's been in the ground 2 years and it's only knee high. It's a little guy. The Maya lemon, which is growing really well and fruiting, right? These are the smaller lemons, which are more sweet than the Eureka. The carob is setting fruit already. Right, that started happening last month. And this is the hermaphrodite, Clifford, grafted. In its 3rd year, and it's already 7 feet tall in year 3. Big tree. It's going to be a monster. The Elsh pomegranate that I've had in the ground now for coming up to 7 years. And the what's his name? Not the Hercules. Ben-Hur. I always think of Hercules. The Ben-Hur is also fully awake. This will be flowering by the end of September. The purple guava, right? Coming back to life or waking up. Dandelions here, taken over. Peruvian cactus or Peruvian apple. Fig. Already setting little fruit here. Wow. That was quick. First week of spring. And already there's a fig on there. That was quick. Sugar cane. Dr. White. Cherry Moya. This one's coming along nicely. Blood orange. With all that razzmatazz going on the leaves. But again, I don't do much about it. I don't have the time, guys. The little imperial there. Mandarin. But my neighbour's home with his trailer. Pulling in with his trailer. The Mexican cream guava, which looks like it's going to give us a couple of fruit. One there and one over there. So we're going to get a couple of fruit to try out maybe in spring. That'll be nice. Because last year when it set fruit, they were rotten. They weren't edible. This guy here, which did amazing. This is the Shuruga persimmon. Had over 50 fruit on it in its first fruiting year. It's getting smothered though by all this nasturtium. I don't know if I should remove the nasturtium or leave them. Right, they're really taking over here. Kim says leave them, she likes them. She cooks with it too. But I don't know if it's taken away from the life of the tree. That's the problem. So the Shuruga hasn't woken up yet. Seems to be a late variety. Let's see if it's even still alive. Yep, it's all green. Then we've got the big plum trees here. The green gauge. And the other gauge, I forgot what it's called. I've got both gauges here. The two new avocado trees. The bacon, which is in full bloom. Right, 2nd year in the ground at 2 meters height. Absolutely loving its position there. Another Dr. White Cherry Moya, doing really well. Can't wait to try that one. And a shepherd avocado, which is 8 feet high. And only just starting to flower now. Just starting now to flower. So he's a latecomer. Whereas the bacon looks like it's been flowering all of August. A very early variety. Another fig there. Another Suriname cherry back there. Behind the sugar cane. Right. A small young Suriname cherry as a backup. A volunteer passion fruit. I think that's a passion fruit, or is that a mulberry? Actually, there's a snail there eating the leaf. Yeah. Wow, it looks like a mulberry. Huh. dwarf ducas. So see how nature does everything itself, guys. Check it out. Without even being here, I've been away all winter, right? Since April, from April till September. And look how the trees have managed to look after themselves, right? Look at this. They're all doing their own thing. Check out the plumcot. Wow, amazing. That's the first stone fruit that's ready at the end of spring, beginning of summer. This kumquat is very, very dry. Looks like it's getting ready to shoot out a lot of flowers, but it's very yellow. Someone told me in the comments that I should put a ring around it, right, and water it from the outline, because it needs water, and he's right. So that's something I have to work on as well. It's a beautiful ornamental citrus. Check out this guy here. Wow, spectacular or what? The plumcot. Spectacular. Yeah, so, and these are the new plums I got last summer to pollinate these big boys that don't ever seem to fruit. Huge plum trees that don't fruit. And that's because they're missing their pollinators. So there's the other one. So these should help the situation. Should help. Right? Yeah, because this is valuable territory here where I've put them. So if they're gonna be wasting space, they're out. All 4 plum trees are out. I like these plums because they're easy maintenance, easier than peach. There were peaches here and I pulled them out. Plums just seem to be a lot easier than peaches and nectarines. I got some more bananas here, which I put in here 2 years ago. And one of them seems to be hanging in there with a bunch, right, over my neighbor's fence. Pretty small fingers. I don't know if they're gonna be any good. And it's hanging in there with rope, bungee cord, which I tied up back in July. Seems to be doing the trick until there's a huge gust of wind that blows it over. The fence is already leaning, so this is the lamb hass, which still hasn't come forward with any new growth. Still waiting on that. This was a transplant from the back where it almost died. I don't like the state of the old leaves. They're drooping. That's not a good sign. So I'm still waiting for a sign of new growth. So that's going to stay in the ground at least till summer, right, to see if it comes good. This is another cherry moya, which doesn't seem very happy at all. This is the Sophia. It's dropped its leaves, but it'll get new leaves. It lost a branch too, which I had to cut off. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Sophia. It's only a little guy I put in there 6 months ago. More bananas there. White sapote, and mulberry. This is the Hicks Fancy, which again, the birds take all the fruit because I can't net it. It's too much work, too vigorous, too fast, too early, too everything. Everything against my everything against me. Everything you can mention is against me with this mulberry. The birds just win. They win, I lose. White sapote, flowering, It's been flowering all winter. This just doesn't stop flowering. Non-stop flowering from the white sapote, the Vernon, the Vista. We've got different varieties. This has turned into a really big tree now. Really big tree. Yeah, I got a few branches I might pull out because it's starting to get spindly. Right, that's the center branch there. Then you got an awkward branch there. So I'm gonna have to do some work there. The apricot here, the dwarf apricot, is flowering. That's a great apricot. The 2 new custard apples I planted at the beginning of autumn or the end of summer are dropping their leaves, right? Give it some help, drop its leaves. Yeah, this is the Golden Emperor. Still alive. Yep, still alive, no problem. It's just that they drop their leaves especially when they're young. There's another one there, also dropping its leaves, but they're fine. This here is the Brute White Chatut. A Brute. I had to use the chainsaw on him. Right, I left 2 leading branches go up and up and up and up because I don't want them to take over the 2 custard apples that I've planted. So this is going to have to be out of the way. That's the other white sapote, which also needs another trim. It's continuous trimming on the white sapote. It's like trimming soon after the last trim and then trim again. So be very careful where you plant these. They need a lot of maintenance. The Caracara, which I recently highlighted and tasted. Someone said it's not a Caracara. Well, that's what the label says from Dailies. Yeah, it's meant to be pink inside, but it wasn't exactly orange. It was more red. So red indicates that it's a semi-blood orange. Plaxton Prolific, still coming along. So we got 1 fruit there. Got another fruit here. Not much this year. And another one down here. Right, there's 3. I think it's only got 3. I haven't counted. It's got a couple of little ones, which we don't count. So 3 big ones and maybe 3 little ones. Wow. Oh, here's another one, 4. I don't have enough time to even count the fruit, guys. Time as in what's valuable time for me. I'm time rich in other areas like sun tanning, swimming, but when it comes to gardening, it's like overwhelming. I mean, I do the minimal, the absolute minimum now that I have hundreds of trees. If I only had 5 trees, wow, then it's like, yeah, we're gonna do a super pampering episode of Fruitopia. But that's not gonna happen with 300 fruit trees. Not gonna happen anytime soon. This is the Indian white guava, which we also showcased at the end of July. And we picked like 50 and froze. There's now another 50 that are left on the tree. Some of them have spoiled, rotted. Some of them are green. Some of them have dropped whilst we were gone. And there's that beautiful plum cod again, and the bananas. So there's a lot of activity here. Here's another mission fig, what looks like a mission fig, cutting that I put into a pot. I did about 4 of them, just for the hell of it. Easy, I like easy work. I don't like sitting there grafting. Just chop and put in the ground. Chop and put in the ground. That's how I like to propagate. Cuttings. I like cuttings. The passion fruit. There's 2 passion fruits in here. The latest one I put in a year ago is doing well. That's the sweet lilikoi with the big leaves, right? Look at the leaves, they're huge. That's how you know which one is which. Unlike the other one, the Panama Red, which has the small leaves. I can see the sweet lilikoi leaf up there. See that one? But I don't know. There. Okay, I see it. I see its trail. Okay, I see its trail. It's gone in there. But it's hard to monitor or follow. I think it ends. I think it ends just there. So it's just that little corner there where it's going to fruit. Whereas the Panama Red is everywhere, right? From the last 3 years, there's a lot of them. There might be 50 passion fruit up there. Kim just came out and picked a dozen off the ground, right? The winter passion fruit are not very sweet. They're a bit sour. But I don't know. I haven't tried one yet. We'll try the ones that she just picked. The ones we had in July were a bit sour. Here's one. You gotta wait for them to get all wrinkly before you taste them, not when they're hard. This is the Gurumichama, which now is also 8 years old. That's a beautiful tree. I've got a couple of them that I grew from seed in pots at the back. So just hoping this will fruit early for us, because usually these don't come till summertime, December. So just waiting for that. Lemon cherry guava, the Cattleya guava, seems to have 1 fruit left from winter, just 1. Wow, it's interesting. It had like 20 on here. Oh, here they are. They're still green. Okay, still got green ones. Yeah, from winter. Yeah, there's probably 10 on here, little ones. Yeah, the white sapote. Again, there's a little fruitlet setting there. I'm gonna have to thin this out. Way too many fruit. This is like incredibly prolific. This is the Namroy pomelo with its funky leaves. Again, that needs to be sprayed, but I'm not going to do anything because the new growth that's following is usually fine. It's not affected at all. And that's how I roll, guys. Oh, there's another custard apple. So that's 5 main ones, maybe 6. I haven't looked. I'm not sure. My favorite white sapote is the Hawaiian Supreme. This one gets scale at the end of spring. So I've got a lot of work to keep the scale away from this or take it off. Every year without fail, it gets scale. These come early though. These are ready in summer. This is an early variety, but heavily infested with scale every summer. Right now it's clean. So what I do is I butcher it. Heavily and take off all the leaves and branches. It's a pain, but what can you do? There's the white guava again, right? And I think we're done, guys. The new young guavas I planted last summer, the Yaman, and what was it called? Starling? Yeah, Starling. The Starling here. got one fruit for us, just here. Yep. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video from the front. Got a lot of work to do, don't I? A lot of work. Oh, before we finish, let's have a look at this acerola. It's a real pain taking this off because I've tightly wrapped it 3 times round, so it's a lot of work. Let's open it. Okay, I just uncovered the bottom. Looks pretty healthy. Looks pretty happy. Right? Looks more than happy. Looks in much better condition than the other one. The one that's uncovered. Let's go and look at that one again and compare it to this one that's covered. Right? Yeah, night and day. Night and day. This has got some leaves left, but the other one was almost fully leafed, full leaf. Yeah. Wow, the difference is night and day. But the good news is, this one still survived, guys. That's what you want, survival. And survive it has, even without any protection or leaves. So, acerola in the right position does not need to be protected in Melbourne, in the right position. I've planted it in 3 wrong positions and I lost them every time. And now it's worked up there at the top of the driveway. Seems to be a good spot. Actually, anywhere along here seems to be a good spot because this one is flourishing with protection though. I had 2 Panama berries planted here last winter, one here, exactly where these 2 acerolas are, and they both didn't make it. And they were established Panama berries, Jamaica berries, and they still didn't make it. But I never protected them. I didn't cover them. Maybe that's what they needed, overhead protection. Okay, there's one last thing I forgot, and that is the Bowen mango seedling. How did this guy do? Oh, seems to be pretty green. He's getting a lot of overhead protection from the white sapote there. Yeah, he's done okay. He's still got these terrible burnt leaves from May. In May we had a nasty frost for about 2 or 3 days before winter, at the end of fall, at the end of autumn, and it really set back the tree before winter even started. But as you can see, since then there hasn't been any further dieback at all over winter. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's waking up right there at the top. See that? And over there. And over here. So yeah, I guess it would have helped if I had covered the top of the tree. But it's okay, guys. That's the 3rd year it's been in the ground. 3 years. And it's still struggling to take off. And the reason, guys, it's not because of winter. The reason why it's struggling after 3 years is because we've had crap summers. We haven't had any real, true, hot, humid, no humidity at all in Melbourne. No humidity, no heat, no nothing kind of summers for the last 3 years. They've been fake summers, right? And mango doesn't like fake summer. Mango likes real, true hot summers. That's why that Bowen is struggling to do what this plum cod's doing. This is how the mango should look after 3 years, right? Like this. But unfortunately, I'm not in a tropical climate like Queensland for it to do that. In Melbourne, summer is touch and go, and winter is usually nasty as it gets as far as Australia. So guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please go back to part 1 and see the backyard, and we're gonna bring you a lot more videos of the spring at Fruitopia here in Melbourne, Australia. What can be grown outdoors with protection and without protection, right? There you go. We even have these bananas that seem to be ready to bring down, sitting on the roof. That's a pretty small bunch. Alright guys, please like the video if you've enjoyed it, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I think I just spotted someone in the garden. Oh my gosh, they're making a video of me making a video of the garden. What the heck? I've got a stalker. Bye guys.